There'd been no hint that Greens leader Bob Brown was thinking of stepping down from the helm of the party he led from radical fringe to the centre of power. But that's exactly what he did today, making him one of only a privileged few political veterans able to choose the time of their departure. Political correspondent Tom Eagledon looks back on an extraordinary career.
Most political leaders get the guillotine instead of a graceful exit, but Bob Brown's never been most political leaders.
I'm going to look forward to some photography and some writing.
After 16 years in the Senate, he's relinquishing his seat and heading back to Tasmania to a fate that no ex-politician can escape.
I'm also looking forward to him perhaps sharing a greater load of the household tasks at home.
Here comes the washing up.
The move took most in the party and all of the media by surprise. Until recently, he'd been promising to stay on as long as Rupert Murdoch.
But I've watched his progress in the last 18 months and I've decided I changed my mind.
The Prime Minister was informed via a note passed to her in today's COAG meeting.
It has been an interesting and I think remarkable political life. I do wish him well.
These will be turbulent times for the Greens if and when he departs.
Christine Milne was unanimously elected the party's new leader. Adam Bandt beat out two other candidates for the vacant deputy role.
Didn't have any inkling that that was coming.
Bob Brown leaves behind 9 parliamentary colleagues and a vastly different chamber to the one he entered as the curtain came down on the Keating government.
I remember well being in this parliament as the only Green a decade ago.
It was a seat won from the Democrats by the thinnest of margins.
Final counting this afternoon confirmed Dr Bob Brown had won the last Senate seat.
This is a monumental breakthrough for the Greens. It's probably the biggest breakthrough of the decade.
And one that would signal the beginning of the end for Australia's other minor party, who even then apparently sensed the threat.
But as for a close working relationship, the Democrats don't expect to be inviting him in for a cup of herbal tea in the near future.
The new Greens senator was written off as a flake even before he made his maiden speech.
We are an amazing organism which is able to think and reflect on the universe and its awesome and infinite wonder.
But the party broadened its appeal and slowly became a genuine political force.
We are not the environment movement, and the environment movement is not the Greens party, and I think many of the political commentators are just becoming aware of that.
Voters certainly did, though, as the Greens seized on more opportunities to increase their appeal.
By force of circumstance beyond the Greens, to do with the Tampa and to do with the impending war in Iraq,
Labor's small target strategy against John Howard allowed Bob Brown to fully emerge from the woodwork and into political stardom. A visit by George W. Bush fired up the ageing radical.
Pushing and shoving failed to thwart Green Senators Bob Brown and Kerry Nettle, making their presidential protest personal.
He then shouted down the president during his address to Parliament.
Senator Brown will excuse himself from the House.
I love free speech.
This was familiar territory for the senator, who's been arrested several times since protesting against the Franklin Dam project in the early 80s.
The police have since described as a complete exaggeration allegations that their officers stood by and did nothing while conservationists were assaulted.
We're here to get the bulldozers to leave the area, so we're not moving until later.
In that case, you're under arrest.
Okay.
From youthful political idealist...
For us to compromise now will be a bad thing in the judgment of history.
To the man who gave Julia Gillard 3 more years in office and the nation a carbon tax, it's been an extraordinary life in politics.
It's a little bit like a butterfly coming out of a cocoon. The wings are spreading already, even if they're not quite dry.
The senator is 67. Tom Eagledon, Lateline.